That last comment was wild. That was worse than the story OP said. No, you're not the a-hole, and don't gaslight yourself or feel guilty. It was sweet, thoughtful, and amazing, and even creative. To me, the husband was 100% in the wrong. Sometimes the parent has such a negative relationship whereby they see themselves competition to the child, like he's an adult. Hello my fellow toasties. With all the crazy things that's happening in this world, let's get back to basics and read a little bit of I'm the a-hole. I'll read the story and then you can guess if they're the a-hole or not. Would I be the a-hole if I threatened to break up with my boyfriend because of his poor hygiene? Me, 26 female, and my boyfriend, 30 male, have been together for a little over 2 years. Sorry if my English isn't that good. I'm not officially English. For context, I'm mentally challenged. ADHD, PTSD, autism, fetal alcohol syndrome, and more. And I live in a house with 10 other mentally challenged people, and some caretakers that work here to look after us. The owners of this place have a horse farm a few steps away from our house. My now boyfriend had stabled his pony at our horse stable. He came for a contract and I immediately fell for him, and so did he for me. He would stop by every Wednesday and Saturday for his pony, and we would chat. One day he confessed, and since he knew I was into him, he also asked me to be his girlfriend. This is where I might have been too quick. My caretakers didn't want me to go to his place until they were sure he was good for me, and I calmed my overly excited mind about him. This is where it gets difficult for me. I didn't really know about his living situation. He has a rental home and lives a few houses away from his parents. Very sweet people, especially his mom, such a sweetheart. I do think him and his dad also have mental issues because the way they do things is weird. But the first time I was allowed to sleep at his place, around 1.5 years into our relationship, I noticed some things. He doesn't shower every day, maybe twice a week, but he works at a place where he's sweating a lot every day. Gross. He rarely brushes his teeth and never does this in the evening, to which I explained multiple times how disgusting that is. His house smells and he never cleans. He once spilled some cream stuff in his fridge and left it there for a month before he cleaned it up. At that time it was already moldy. His excuse to not clean is, I never have time. After work he just sits at his PC and does some games. He has time, he just never makes time. He also has a small parrot bird everywhere, and he never cleans it up. Behind his PC screen's all white from bird. He never cleans up and makes his bed. He leaves his dishes out for days, sometimes weeks. I never want to shower in the shower because it looks so gross. The amount of time I worry about him and his health is dreading me mentally. It's super frustrating. When I do talk to him about this, he just gets upset. He hates confrontations. He's super stubborn too. For example, please brush your teeth in the evening. It's better because bacteria grow and multiply when you sleep, and it's just gross. Him, it's fine, my teeth are strong and nothing's gonna happen. Stop complaining about the way I do things. That's how it goes with everything, and I'm sick of it. His parents can't change his mind either. I love him a lot, but this is just making me go insane, and I don't know what to do since he won't improve or listen. I do have abandonment issues, and I can't stand the thought of me leaving him. But at this point, I should take care of my mental well-being. Also, I'm a people pleaser. I am thinking of threatening him. If you don't take care of yourself, I might leave, and you look for someone who does accept this. So would I be the a-hole if I threaten to leave, if he keeps being so stubborn and not care for himself?
2,000 years later.
Edit to clear up some miscommunication and misinformation. We don't have, luckily, most because I might be asexual and I may be grossed out by the idea. He is not a narcissist or a manipulative guy. He loves me to death and he's the kindest boyfriend I've ever had. I did ask him what he would do if he broke up, and he did jokingly said he would off himself. To which I said not to say that, and he understood. The caretakers are currently helping me listening and coming up with ideas to help me. I hope this clears up some questions. Let's see what the comments say. Dating is finding out if you're compatible with someone. If you're not, then it's okay to set them and yourself free to find someone who is. You've learned that hygiene is really important to you in a relationship, and that is not a priority for him. He is the only person who can make those changes. You've already told him repeatedly how much it bothers you. He knows that it's bad for his health, and he still makes no effort to change. Giving him an ultimatum isn't going to fix that. Personally, I would just break up with him now. Just say that you've told him over and over again hygiene is really important to you, and he's shown you over and over again that it's not a priority for him. So you're not compatible. Also, just a note, you can break up with anyone for any reason at any time. You're never a hostage in a relationship, and you don't have to justify it to anyone. It may be a good idea to have one of your support staff on standby or make a safety plan ahead of time in case he tries to guilt trip you into staying or escalates physically in any way, because sometimes people can react unpredictably during a breakup. At first I thought a stable hand? No, that's not too bad. I always loved the smell of horses and barns, but as I started to read him further, this guy has a total neckbeard nest. The guy sounds like Mangold.
Get the dead rat out. I don't need to anymore. It doesn't smell bad. The thing is, I used to use a dead rat as an alarm clock, actually, for my stream, because basically what happened was whenever the sun would come up, it would start cooking the corpse of the rat, and then it would start smelling again, and then the smell would wake me up. So I would use the rat effectively as an alarm clock, and as soon as it, it got hot enough, it would wake me up, and then I would know, oh shit, it's time to stream. Have you guys ever done that before? Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. I mean, you guys know what it is. Yeah, it is what it is, right, guys? Yeah, it is what it is. You're an inspiration to us all. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
You can't break up with someone any reason for any time. If this is important to you, then maybe moving on is the best thing. I'd say not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for siding with my dad in a divorce even though he cheated on my mom? What? My dad, 52 male, and my mom, 49 female, separated nearly 8 months ago due to my dad having an affair. I, 17 female, understand that my dad is in the wrong and cheating is never okay. But recently I found myself resenting my mom due to her reaction to the divorce. She has been putting voice recorders in all of our vehicles, including mine. There is no way to know where else these are hidden. It makes me feel uncomfortable to even talk out loud even in my own home. She also put cameras all in around our house, hoping to catch my dad so he's no longer allowed in our home. She even put one directly in front of my bedroom, which is not being removed, even though I told her it seemed weird to me, especially since I gave her no reason not to trust me and didn't see a purpose behind putting a camera there. My dad had to buy a new phone since she still could log into his Apple ID and would go through it, as well as log into his Facebook and other social medias. Her email was the recovery email for all of his powers, since my dad has never been good with technology. Even after buying a new phone, she still somehow has access to his location. I'm not sure how, but I wouldn't be surprised to find out she has an AirTag or a tracker of some sort somewhere. She checks his location religiously and will leave at all hours of the day to follow him if she thinks he's going to meet another woman. The reason I'm asking if I'm the a-hole is because me and my mom recently got into an argument. I've had a strange relationship with her since she found out I was gay about a year ago, but we are civil and I just don't talk about it. This argument started because she was questioning me about my relationship with my girlfriend, 18 female, and trying to tell me that she wasn't good for me. I was annoyed with her because I tried not to talk about my girlfriend around her to avoid the conflict. When she brought it up, I responded without thinking and said, I don't think you should be giving out relationship advice. She immediately started crying and saying it wasn't her fault, and I shouldn't hold that over her. I left the room, but later we were watching TV and she reignited the issue by venting to me about dad and kept mentioning me and how he'd probably marry some and fully talking my dad to me and saying how horrible he was to her. I know she's upset, but I wish she wouldn't vent to me about this situation because I still love my dad and I'd rather not be involved. I tried to switch topics, but she just doubled down, so I said it doesn't really matter who he marries. This upset her and she accused me of not caring at all that they split, and then told me I was just like him and didn't have any emotions. At this point I was angry with her and said I would rather be like my dad than her and could understand why my dad would want to be with someone else. Before I give my 2 cents, let's see what others had to say. Everybody sucks here. Your dad for cheating, your mom for unhinged toxic behavior. I know you're only 17, but you're old enough to know your comments are hurtful. You'll need to do a lot of work on yourself if you ever want to break the cycle of toxic behavior you inherited from both parents. This comment is unhinged just for the everybody sucks here. OP is firmly not the a-hole. Not the nicest thing to say to mom, but is 100% true. Planting voice recorders everywhere in the effing house and acting like a psychopath towards your child because your husband cheated on you? Reddit, everybody sucks here. OP, you definitely need to work on yourself, but run from Reddit, please. Telling their mom they shouldn't give dating advice after she got cheated on as if she was somehow her fault is total a-hole behavior. The mother is simply coming apart. She got trust issues after the betrayal. She needs therapy ASAP, but the root cause is still the dad. If he had not cheated, the mom would be okay and the OP would not be here. I'm gonna disagree with the comments and say that the OP is definitely not the a-hole. She shouldn't have to shoulder the burden of what the parents are doing or going through. She shouldn't have to just work on herself because the parents are messed up in this case. The fact that the mother is planting all sorts of devices, completely disregarding privacy, is completely unhinged, especially since the father has already left the relationship. This goes what I've been saying, that you can't be tracking each other's phones, going through each other's social media is completely toxic behavior. Worst yet, what if those cameras were compromised and now your private footage is on the internet? Yeah, definitely not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for giving my husband a pregnancy test as a b-day gift? Hi, I am female 23. My husband, male 25, birthday was 1 week ago. We've wanted a baby for a really long time. When I found out I was pregnant, I was so excited. Knowing my husband's birthday was in 3 days, I decided to keep it a secret and give the test to him as part of a b-day gift because he wouldn't be expecting it. In my head, it would be more shocking and exciting. At least that's how I thought it would be. Perhaps that was a dumb thought. Now, this is not going to be a big party with tons of people. My husband didn't want that. So it was just gonna be the two of us. He was gonna open his gifts, we were gonna eat a nice dinner, and it was gonna be chill and intimate. With this in mind, I didn't think giving him the pregnancy test as a gift would be a problem at all. If it were a big party, I wouldn't have done it because it would have taken the entire focus off of him. But this was a small party just for me and him. When it came for me to give him his gifts, the pregnancy test was in a small box and I told him to open it last. He was super happy with all of his gifts, and when he opened the box with the pregnancy test in it, his demeanor changed. He seemed upset. I asked what was wrong and he said it was a stupid gift. What? And how could you hide something like this from me? You knew this for so long and you hid it? I explained to him it was 3 days. I thought it would be a wonderful gift. Like I said, we wanted a baby for so long and I thought he'd be happy. He said that he was happy, but the timing for me to tell him was horrible and that it was his birthday, not a celebration of pregnancy. I was confused, hurt, upset, so many emotions at once. I called him immature and that led to a fight. He slept on the couch that night. This past week he hasn't talked to me too much. Whenever I try to bring it up, he just says stop, we're past it. It was dumb of you. Stuff like that. He doesn't tell me how happy he is or any celebration about us being pregnant. Whenever I talk to him, he doesn't really reply. It's just yes or no or a grunt. I feel horrible. I didn't think it would be a bad gift. I thought he would love it. Am I the a-hole for doing this? I really thought it was okay, but I'm starting to think he's right. I shouldn't have done this.
A few inches later.
I don't really consider this an update, but after reading the replies, I'd like to clear up a few things. 1. No, my husband has not ever acted this way towards me before. We've argued before, but it's never led to the point where he ignores me. 2. To all the comments asking why I mean by wanting a baby for a really long time, we've been married for 4 years and we agreed from the start about wanting children. 3. Yes, we've been trying for a baby. I didn't stop taking birth control secretly, nor did we stop using protection accidentally. This was something we both originally wanted. 4. I didn't tell anyone before him. He was the first person to know. 5. I thought I clearly stated that we were alone for the party, but we were alone. There wasn't other people around to hear. It was just us. Also, I don't know how to get rid of these numbers, so ignore them. But I don't want to kick him out or leave him. I really would appreciate advice on how to go about talking to him if you have any advice. I don't want to get an abortion. Let's see what the responses are. I think he didn't actually want kids. Mine didn't. I realize now what a mistake it was to approach my pregnancy as a child asking to keep a stray animal and promising to always take care of it and never bother anyone else about it. 25 years of him saying, you've changed a lot when we had kids. I did. I grew up and focused on the enormity of all the responsibility. He resented me for the attention it took away from him. I spent most of my adult life feeling guilty for changing. We're divorced now and I still can't shake that feeling of guilt. Sam, you're worthy of existing, taking up space and pursuing your wants and dreams. I've had similar experiences in romantic relationships as well, offering you hugs if you want them. Here's a complimentary quote for you that smacked me between the eyes yesterday. When we don't feel wanted, we make ourselves feel needed. And I realize now that's what I've been doing my entire life. End quote, unknown. I know a couple like this. The woman desperately wanted children. The man said, okay, but I'm not doing anything to raise them. He proudly told me that he never once changed a diaper in his life, never fed or dressed them, etc. And tried to recruit me as free help while his wife left town for the weekend. I guess the situation works for them, but it made me feel so icky. Anyway, a fun phrase I'm seeing a lot lately is, men want kids the way a kid wants a puppy. Basically the same thing as OP said. That last comment was wild. That was worse than the story OP said. No, you're not the a-hole, and don't gaslight yourself or feel guilty. It was sweet, thoughtful, and amazing, and even creative. To me, the husband was 100% in the wrong. Sometimes the parent has such a negative relationship whereby they see themselves competition to the child, like he's an adult, but clearly he's way too immature. Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I the a-hole for walking heavily and being upset that I was woken up from a much needed nap for a second time in less than 30 minutes? In the last 2 nights, I've gotten 6 or 7 hours of sleep. In the last 2 days, I've been doing a lot of physical intensive work around the house and running errands for the family. Finally, everything was done. It was 8 p.m. and I could finally lie down to nap before I had to be up to do something at 2 a.m. Around 10 p.m., I was woken up by my family being loud in the living room. My eldest and her boyfriend came over for dinner, and my wife and other kids were excited and joking. I didn't gripe, I didn't get upset about being woken up. I just went out into the backyard where I have a tool-shed turned office, and I was going to sleep in my recliner. About 30 minutes later, just long enough for me to finally fall back asleep, my daughter's dog started to howl in the back door to be let in. Even though the family was just on the other side of that sliding glass door, nobody heard her and it woke me up. This woke me up, and with an upset expression on my face and steps being heavier than normal, I let the dog in and got me a glass of water. When I explained what happened, there wasn't any anger in my voice. I just stated what had happened. I was just informed by my wife that this ruined the mood for the evening, and my daughter and her boyfriend went home early. Further, I was informed that my reaction was inappropriate, that I shouldn't have been walking so heavily and should have schooled my face more. Am I the a-hole? Let's see what the comments say. The first one says, "Are you playing video games at night?" It is kind of insulting that you would rather interact with a screen than with real people on the other side of the wall having fun. You're the a-hole. Yes, family is having a nice time together and dad is grumpy because he cuts into his pre-gaming nap. What makes you think it's video games? I checked his comment history, but I do feel like I'm missing something. It's in this post from a year ago. According to that post, he has one night a week he tries to play games with his friends to maintain contact with them after moving out of the country and places that do not speak his native language. So he does not appear to be an all-time thing. If he's gotten 6 or 7 hours of sleep over 2 sleep cycles, that is basically 3 to 3.5 hours per night. This means he isn't sleeping enough. Nothing in this post says it's due to gaming, and that is an assumption on people's part to this one post from a year ago. Anyone would be grumpy due to the lack of sleep and any consideration from the family. He is not required in his own home to be a perfect host to these kinds of situations. You're the a-hole. You ignored your family so you can game with friends. You ignored that 8 p.m. on a Saturday night knowing he's going to be lively, and it was. You expect them to talk in a soft voice and not forget your nap, which is unlikely unless you have a terminal illness. But no, you were taking a nap to refresh for gaming. You don't work a night shift. First off, I thought that was a normal sleep cycle. No wonder I walk around complaining that I'm tired all the time. By the comments, he was voted overwhelmingly the a-hole. I'm gonna have to disagree. There's a lot of assumptions that he was gaming due to a post history, but that was over a year ago. If it was something recent, like a couple months or even weeks, then yeah, I can see how that would work. But there's no indication that is the case this time. I don't know, digging that far back in the history of a Reddit user, that to me in itself is problematic. And he could have been nice, but came off as standoffish. Sometimes I talk very loud or, I get sometimes excited, and my voice starts to raise, and that scares some people sometimes. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments. But if you reached the end of this video, thank you for watching. Go check out some of my other videos on the channel, like and subscribe if you want to, and always stay toasty!